So there is a channeled message that I received and have been receiving for the past few days, and it's about Lemuria and Atlantis and what happened to them that led to their destruction, as well as who carried the pieces forward, because there were survivors of both civilizations. But that message, I want to try to summarize it and share kind of the take-home points of that. So, whether you see it as mythology, a multi-dimensional memory, or both, it just feels very relevant right now. So, the two civilizations of Lemuria and Atlantis existed in two very different manners as it relates to power and the consciousness of Earth. And according to what I received, both from an extra dimensional Hathor being and a earthbound fairy, both civilizations were entrusted by the seeders of the universe with 3 crystals each. And the crystals weren't just decorative objects. They were for receiving, for transmitting information. They were generators of great power. They were able to amplify consciousness. They could interact with the quantum field through the consciousness of the humans and change matter. Atlantis used these crystals to build massive technologic systems. They manipulated energy, matter, the field of reality, DNA. Their cities were powered through these crystal amplified grids, and they built this using vibration, frequency, and telepathic messaging and consciousness. And the Atlanteans became consumed by this power. They lost their direction of using it for the greater good, and the power became their reason for being, their driving force. The Lemurians took a different path. They used the same energetic technologies, the same 3 crystals, not for domination, but for existing in harmony. And they lived with deep connection to nature, using telepathy, sound, vibration, language of light. They didn't speak like we speak. They toned. They transmitted frequency telepathically and energetically. And their crystals were used to enhance the energetic field around them, supporting health and longevity, protection, balance, growth of both, their crops, but each other. They lived hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. They did not know disease. The Atlanteans destroyed Lemuria because they wanted their power, they wanted their crystals, and they were threatened by them. A small group of Lemurians survived and were told to leave prior to the destruction. They traveled to part of Northern Europe. The United Kingdom was attached by land there to the rest of Europe, but that's where they landed and kind of went into the UK and I guess France and like Belgium, like that area, parts of Germany. They began creating stone circles there throughout Northern Europe, but we're aware of the ones that are in the UK, like Stonehenge. And they were portals. They were energetic gateways on Earth's ley lines that they could use, again, to bring those crystals and to communicate with the consciousness of both Earth and the stars. After the fall of Atlantis, because they were destroyed, their own power consumed them. Prior to the fall of Atlantis, a group of the Atlantean beings that were called to recall the good of Atlantis that once was. They are known as the Atlantean 12, and they carried their knowledge into Egypt. So the Lemurians traveled into Europe, carrying their knowledge, their wisdom, connecting the stars and the earth. And the Atlanteans went to Egypt to do the same, where they constructed the pyramids and sacred chambers connecting to the planetary grid and energetic portals and nodes on the earth. It was mind-blowing. And there's so much more, like, I will have to share it with you in bits and pieces because I'm still processing it. But what I've been processing now is that in my transmission, I received that we are approaching, us humans now, a period of reactivation. Not necessarily of the physical technology, but of remembrance and of advancing consciousness ourselves. We're reconnecting to the understanding that thought and frequency and intention, earth, the sky, the planets, the stars, and human consciousness are all interconnected. We're all part of a universal, integrated, organizing intelligence of life that is this energetic field. And however you choose to interpret this, like literally, symbolically, spiritually, the question really is, what happens when a civilization advances technologically faster than it does spiritually? Because I think that's the real lesson of Atlantis. They destroyed Lemuria, and then they were destroyed because they lost their spirituality. So there's this invitation at this moment not to repeat it. Remember the balance, technology and consciousness. Go forward, light workers. I'd love to hear what you think about that.